with all the aplomb and acclaim that this kind of event brings, and how much the opinions mean to everyone watching, I'm just really excited to do another quick list. Also, the Oscars happened, but nobody cares about that. What are we doing today? Well, we've got a quick list, kind of, guys, different kind of quick list today. I wanted to do a quick video to kind of react to the Oscar wins, okay? Because I sat and watched it last night, which in the UK means sitting up from 1 to 4 a.m. Half 4 in the end. So, I'm running on a little sleep. Let's go, okay? I'm gonna just say, like, who won the Oscars and whether I think that was the right decision or whether there was another decision that I think was the correct one, okay? Just run through them nice and quick, okay? So, let's begin with Best Actor. Joaquin Phoenix won for his role in Joker portraying Arthur Fleck, who is insane. From his speech, I was worried that at one point Joaquin was in fact going to just pull out a gun and shoot himself or somebody else, but he didn't. It was just a really powerful speech where he didn't thank anybody. It was very on just everyone, on the human race essentially. Was this the correct decision? Yeah, no, definitely. Who else was in the category? I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, good, certainly, but Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory, also strong performance. They're all strong performances. Adam Driver, Marriage Story, it's a very strong performance again, but Joker was on another level, and it was not, I don't want to say mostly due to Joaquin Phoenix's performance, but it was centered very much around him in a way that certainly Marriage Story wasn't on Driver's character. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood wasn't on DiCaprio's character, you know? So, I'm glad that's the way it's gone. Next, Best Actress is a different kettle of fish. Once again, Renee Zellweger won because Judy, playing Judy Garland as she aged, let's not quite say gracefully, the film was definitely built around her and her performance. It's a biopic. They always are. However, on this occasion, I question it. I've seen Judy, it was a very good performance, but I'm not sure it was the right decision. You also had people like Charlize Theron, who was very good as Megyn Kelly in Bombshell. You had Cynthia Erivo from Harriet, another amazing performance. But in my mind, and I know I'm Irish, so this just sounds biased, but Saoirse Ronan in Little Women made that film just so unbelievable. It was so well acted from everyone, and I feel like it didn't get a lot of love. Partially because it's like the fourth rendition that they've done on screen, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair at all. But that's the way it went. I think Saoirse Ronan should have won this one over Renee Zellweger. That's just me, though. Next, Best Director went shockingly. That was definitely a shock. Bong Joon-ho for Parasite won Best Director. Was that the right decision? I'm going to tentatively say no, because in my mind, what Sam Mendes achieved with 1917, it's a British film. This sounds like I'm being biased once again. What he achieved in that film, and he was the man behind creating that single-shot film, that's just such a unique, incredible piece of filmmaking, and it worked. It was a great film, besides everything else. So in my mind, Sam Mendes maybe should have snuck that one, but what Bong Joon-ho did with Parasite was incredible, so I'm not going to be frustrated about that one. They're kind of a level playing field almost for me. Next, the Screenplay Oscars. Bong Joon-ho won again for Parasite, which was not so much of a surprise, that one. That one looked like it was coming. In my mind, that is the correct decision there. For Screenplay, I think nothing was beating Parasite, full stop. Adapted Screenplay, I was really happy to see Taika Waititi win an Oscar for adapted screenplay. Jojo Rabbit didn't get a huge amount of love last night, but it hugely deserved that. I was really happy about it. Was it the right decision? I can't quite bring myself to say it wasn't, but another film that didn't get a lot of love last night was Little Women. And I've already said Saoirse should have won. I will continue to complain about more. More than things like The Irishman and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that could have won more, I feel like Little Women should have won more, and I feel like Greta Gerwig got snubbed in the Best Director category, and people were complaining about that, you know, for sure. And I feel like she should have won Adapted Screenplay since she was nominated in that. because what she did was truly take a book that feels like it could be from any era and just made it feel so much like it's from our era while keeping the original setting. And I thought it was so amazingly well done. And some people complained about it, about the writing in different ways, which is fair enough, and didn't help it at the Academy in the end. But I'm upset. I would have loved to see Greta Gerwig win that. But I can't. I'm such a huge Taika Waititi fan that I can't be angry either. Next, I want to run through a series of ones here, mostly smaller awards. That's not nice to say smaller awards. Mostly, effects and sound and stuff like that I do think were correct, and I want to kind of explain some of those briefly. So cinematography was the big one for me coming into this. Out of these kind of awards, it was so clear who it had to be, and there wasn't much argument about it really. Roger Deakins won it for 1917, and I'm especially glad that he won that, considering that Sam Mendes didn't get Best Director, because Roger Deakins is the other man that was really behind this whole single shot thing working so incredibly well. So I'm really glad for him for that. Next, film editing and sound editing both went to Ford versus Ferrari. Both, in my mind, fair, because I loved that film. I wanted to see it get some love, and it did. It didn't get any acting nominations, anything like that in director. It did get a Best Picture nomination, but it was never going to win it. And I'm just really happy to see it win a couple of technical awards at least, because I feel like it was just so well made, and editing especially, it was incredible. So I'm not going to argue either way. Obviously, film editing, you could argue in a way for 1917, but I think Ford vs. Ferrari tops it in that category. Next, sound mixing, however, went to 1917. Also very well deserved in my mind. It's such a... It really places you there. The sound is so well done in that film. Makeup and hair went to Bombshell. Can't argue with that. Charlize Theron looked whoa hella like Megyn Kelly. I thought that was crazy. And of course Roger Ailes. John Lithgow played Roger Ailes, and that was some great job. It was in fact the same people worked on that worked on, was it The Darkest Hour? They made Gary Oldman and Winston Churchill, so they're very good at that specific type of thing for sure. Costume design did go to Little Women. It's won award of the evening, and I'm upset that there weren't more, but I'm glad, and it fully deserved that. That is the correct decision. Visual effects went to 1917. There's not much question about that. Obviously, it would always be nice to see Avengers Endgame win an award. I'm a huge fan of that film, but alas, 1917 really nailed that. And original score went to Joker, which is, I'm not going to say wrong, but I think 1917's score was as good. I love the 1917 score. So those are on a level playing field for me, but Joker's was amazing too. You can't argue too much with it. However, production design went to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and it was well done, certainly. I really liked that production design, but again, I'm gonna have to say 1917 probably should have won that one for me. You just had to build such huge sets that they were able to walk through for these long, like 6-8 minute cuts, you know, for 1917. I feel like maybe that tops the Once Upon a Time Hollywood thingy. Next, Best Supporting Actor went to Brad Pitt. Finally, Brad Pitt has an Oscar. It was, to be fair, for a long time he wasn't starring in the right kind of films to be winning one, but now he is. Did it for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and yeah, no, I won't argue with that. I'd say that is correct. There were other... It wasn't a hugely strong category, I'm not going to say. You know, because the Irishman vote was split for Al Pacino and Joe Pesci, I don't think either of them was ever going to win it. Next, Best Supporting Actress, however, I'm going to complain again. I must sound like a broken record. I didn't realise how many of these I was trying to give to Little Women, but, I mean, not even that. It's weird, Laura Dern was in Little Women, but got one for Marriage Story, and I thought she was good in that. It was a good performance. It was good. But that was a very strong category for me. I really, really loved Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit. I thought she was so impressive in that. I loved her in that. I really, really, really liked Florence Pugh in Little Women, because as much as you hated Amy for, you know, the normal stuff, I couldn't quite bring myself to hate her. Partly because I love Florence Pugh in general, but also because she was such a kind of babyish character almost, that you just felt bad for her in a weird way. It was such a unique take on the character. I really loved that. But Little Women once again misses out because it's just the fourth adaptation. And also, I mean, Kathy Bates was very good in Richard Jewell, but I feel like I'm leaving her out. But also, Margot Robbie in Bombshell, I think equally could have surpassed Laura Dern because, wow, that was the most powerful performance in that film for me. She was stunning, and her character was just going through all of the worst things you can be put through, and it was awful. It was awful. She did that really well. So, I just feel like anyone could have won that one, really. Next, down to the last couple here, I've left a couple of random ones that I'm randomly a bit aggrieved about in different ways near the end. Original song. I'm a big fan of Frozen 2. I didn't think Into the Unknown was the best song from it. But it was the one nominated. I don't think it should have won, though, because I think the song from Harriet should have won. I think, what was it called? Stand Up, was that what it was called? I think that should have won over Rocket Man. Yeah, I'm Gonna Love Me Again was a great song. But, and even just, if you just took it from the performances at the Oscars live ceremony itself, never mind from the films, like, wow. The Harriet song was incredible in there. They did that so well. It was amazingly put together. It was definitely one of the highlights of the whole ceremony. That song, and in the film it is amazing as well. And that's a shame. But at the same time, I'm not angry because Rocket Man is an amazing film, and it got almost no love in nominations at all. Taron Egerton was snubbed. It didn't get a Best Picture nomination or anything like that. So it was nice to see it win an Oscar for something, you know. Next, penultimately, I want to talk about animated feature. Because while I was not as big a fan of The Irishman or Marriage Story as some other people, and therefore wasn't that angry that they missed out in most places for Netflix, I was annoyed. I was very annoyed that Klaus did not win Best Animated Feature, because that film did things to my soul, man. I loved that film. And I really loved Toy Story 4, which won Best Animated Feature. I loved it. It was my favourite in the Toy Story franchise for sure since the first one. And one of my favourite Pixar films, just full stop, probably. But Klaus was even better. And Klaus is an original thing, whereas Toy Story 4, you know. Next, finally, Best Picture. The first ever foreign language film to win Best Picture, Parasite. It swept up awards last night. It won four, I want to say 4 Oscars in the end. It won the most of the night. It was a fairly spread out night. No one took home a big number, but taking original screenplay, director, and Best Picture. And what was the other one? What was the other one? What was the other one it won? It won something else. Best foreign language film was the other one. Do I think Parasite deserved to win Best Picture? Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to argue about that one, even just to create controversy for the video. But honestly, out of all of them, I was a huge fan of Little Women. But for me, it was fair for it to be between 1917 and Parasite. I wouldn't have minded either one. I would have been a bit annoyed if The Irishman or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood had won it. I would have been amazingly shocked if like Ford vs Ferrari or Jojo Rabbit had done it. But it's a toss-up for me. I don't mind between the two of them. And Parasite is just one of the most unique, mad films just that you'll ever see. So no, I'm not annoyed. And it's an incredible thing in a year that the Academy is being slammed for not enough women, not enough people of colour getting nominated, that a South Korean film wins Best Picture, you know. It is nice to see. It's really amazing.